This is a bag of mice. Through the years, you've probably collected a dozen of mice, and you probably have spent hundreds to even thousands of dollars into buying mice. 99.9% of people who use computer will likely need the mouse. And in general, when your mouse broke, there can only be two subsequent actions. First, you buy the same model of a mouse, or second, you try something different. I falls into the latter part. But is there a mouse that I can use or I can buy over and over again without thinking twice? And there is this guy. This is the ATK Y9 ergonomic gaming mouse. I think I found my perfect ergo gaming mouse, and let me tell you why. Okay, so when it comes to the market about the budget ergo gaming mouse, there are several other popular choices out there. One in which I think a lot of people talked about, which is this ATK Z1. I believe the Z1 Mark II has just been released as well. And also there is the Rapoo VT3s. These are pretty good choices, to be honest, but there are something that, I just feel that is not exactly fits my use case. The ATK Z1 came the closest to what is my ideal mouse, but the battery life on this thing is pretty detrimental. Perhaps it's just my unit being defect, but yeah, I mean, ATK doesn't have the best track record when it comes to quality control in the internal hardwares. So maybe because of that. But if you guys own any ATK Z1, do let me know if the battery life is similar to my case. So I've been using this one for close to a few weeks. The battery only runs approximately 5 days at most. So it's pretty bad, to be honest, and I cannot stand it. Although on the specs it did say that the battery is about 300 mAh. Maybe it's because of that, but I don't know. Shape-wise, this is, like I said, it's really close to my ideal shape, although it's a little bit slightly on the heavier side by 5 gram. But every other thing else, if I really want to trade off, I think the Rapoo VT3s actually fits the build even more. But when it comes to the build quality and the material use, it's something that I do not feel that, the Rapoo might not be comparable to the ATK. This is just my personal preference, but I do feel that Rapoo, for some reason, it just doesn't feel that higher quality than that. I mean, ironic coming from like budget gaming mouse, but that's just how I feel. Then comes the Y9. So this is announced quite recently as well. And the shape is somewhat a little bit different from the other two. ATK Z1 as well as the Rapoo VT3s has quite a similar shape. But this thing has a more protruded back hump. I'm not sure you can see that. Let me try to get it up. Yeah, it's more back heavy, it's more back taller. And thus, because of that, I thought that this might be a better fit for my palm grip. And it does. It does perfectly fine. So when I game, usually I rest my entire palm on the mouse. Especially during productivity, about 80% of my palm is actually on the mouse itself. Which means to say, this part, along my fingers as well as the back part of my palm is in contact with the mouse. I needed something to support it effectively. So when the back hump is a little bit too low, so the back part of my hand feels a little bit hover. This one perfectly fits, solve the problem. So what's so good about the Y9 that I actually wanted to make a review right now? It's been using it for almost close to a full week now, and the battery life has only depleted 20%. How on earth did they optimize the battery life to this level? It's really incredible, and it really blows me off, my expectations. There are two models of the Y9. There's the Pro Max model as well as the Ultra model. So the Ultra models, it claims that it runs on a different sensor. I'll at least expect in a bit. So when it comes to the component of the mouse, let's talk about my version, which is the Pro Max. This thing runs on a PAL 3395 Ultra sensor. The control chip they use is a Nordic 52840. It claims that it has about 240 hours of battery life, utilizing the 800 mAh battery, and it says about 55 gram, but that's not true. For my unit, it weighs about 62 gram. The switches you use on here is the Huano Clear Shell Pink Dot. And the rotary encoder they use here is actually the F-switch encoder, which, as mentioned in my Archer video as well, I do prefer the F-switch encoder, even though like TTC Go is actually a better standard ones. But yeah, that's just my preferred. There is something that I think, in my case here, this is probably the mouse that I will get over and over and over and over again as long as this thing continues their production. It's probably the best performance to cost to performance use case as well as shape size for me. If any one of you are similar to me, most of the time you're using a palm grip, I think this is one of the best mouse you can try out there. I seriously have tried shit ton of ergonomic mouse out there already to come to this conclusion that I finally found my my oasis. It's a pretty rare statement. Even compared to my previous mouse that I really like a lot, which is this is the RAWM ER21 Pro. This is one hell of a mouse when it comes to performance, weight-wise and whatnot as well. I do think I will tend to switch between these two, but in terms of comfort as well as the size preferred-wise, Y9 is no competition. Really, everything else is not near this level when it comes to the perfect fit of it. The mouse has a little bit of uniqueness when it comes to the grip. Unlike a lot of other ergonomic mouse, where the right side of the flap, or of whatever you want to call it, tends to be more flat, tends to be more meaty. But this one has a little bit more slope to it, so it feels a little bit more slim on the right side. So in which, when it comes to serious gaming, in which your ring finger will be the one that is going to grip onto that latch more deeply, this gave me more control, and it gave me a lot more comfort when it comes to, you know, holding the mouse for long hours. When it comes to productivity or like casual usage-wise, my ring finger usually hovers outside. So in this case, then I'm in full contact with the mouse again, and it's perfectly comfortable for 99.9% of my experience in using this mouse. So like I said again, the thing that really blows my mind is actually the battery life. I mean, all the mouse that I tested so far last year as well as this few months, this is easily one of the top mouse when it comes to battery life performance or optimizations. Maybe it's because of the Nordic chip they use, but I really do not know why. Or maybe it's because of a combination between with the 800 mAh battery and the chip. But as I said, this is really a good combination, and for the price, $40 for this mouse, I mean, it's a steal. It's really a steal. And do I think that it's worth the upgrade from the Pro Max to the Ultimate? I really do not think so. The difference is pretty minor, in my opinion. The Ultimate version does comes with a different chip, which is the Nordic 54L15. I honestly don't know what's the difference there. The switches also were different. They did not disclose what exactly it is, but they say it's something about in-house ATK switches. Maybe need to find more information about it. Additionally, as I said earlier as well, the dongle they use is a 8K bigger dongle, which I really don't like it. I prefer the nano dongle, which I can easily plug in my USB. The price jump is about 50%, which it really doesn't really justify that performance difference, unless you're like, maybe you're into like professional esports level, and you needed really, you know, fine-tune min-maxing your mouse performance, then maybe it's something worth considering. But otherwise, I think this Pro Max model is I declare it's one of the best ergo gaming mouse out there. Even compared to a lot of the expensive options out in the market, this is easily one of my best mouse that I will buy for the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, as long as there's production on this mouse. So if you manage to find it for like under 50 or even 40 bucks, 40 bucks is actually the best price if you can find it. There really isn't anything negative I can say about this mouse, really. I can't find any negative. Oh, if you really want to talk about like nitty-picky or negatives about this mouse, then yeah, maybe it doesn't have Bluetooth or it's slightly on the heavier side. That's it, bro. Like, it's 63 gram versus like sub 50 maybe. If you are into the sub 50, then yeah, you might find this mouse a little bit heavier. But for me, when I'm using this, because of how much control I have over this mouse with the curve as well as the full grip over the back hump, I find this mouse light, in fact. I find it somehow lighter than the ATK Z1, which is quite mind-blowing. Z1 is slightly lighter, I believe. Yeah, it's 56 gram versus 62 gram. That's about 5 gram difference, and I still find this lighter than that. And you compare that to, like, say, the RAWM ER21. This is 51 gram, and I still find this is actually the lightest. So, to me, in terms of the using experience wise, I feel that the weight feels very close to the ER21. Okay, so what's my conclusion on the ATK Dragonfly Y9? If you have 40 bucks to spare for an ergonomic gaming mouse, I think this is one of the best choices out there. And if you're like me, for electronical devices, you like to prioritize battery life over every other thing else, I think the Y9 is a really good choice for a mouse out there. Models get phased out all the time, so you might not come across something like this ever again. I think it's a good time to try it out first. So yeah, if I'm going to score the mouse, it's probably give it a 10. It's 10 out of 10. There's no question asked for me. My ideal ergonomic mouse, yeah, Y9.